Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of Conversations with Camden. I am Casey Robinson. I'm Dean of Enrollment Administration, which means I'm in charge of admissions as well. So I'm here tonight with some current students, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the Camden experience and what it's like to actually be a cadet here, and maybe even what it's like, whose idea was it for them to attend here? That's always interesting to hear as well. So I want to start the evening off by introducing these young men. By the way, all three of these young men are seniors. This is our last YouTube Live before graduation. I'm sure they're very excited about that. But they will be graduating actually Sunday, May 9th. And so these guys, some of them have been around here. I felt like we helped raise some of them, so they've been here so long, which is not typical. The average length of stay is about 2 years, but we'll get into more of that in just a minute. All right, let's start out with some introductions. Cadet Demba, tell us your name and where you're from and how long you've been here.
All right, my name is Emmanuel Demba, and I've been at Camden Military Academy for 2 years now. I came to Camden for a lot of reasons, and I'm glad I chose here.
All right, and Cadet Demba, he's from the Democratic Republic of Congo, so DRC. He's an international representative tonight, so he probably wins the prize from Fathers from Home. But then we'll go to Cadet Pitt. Tell us who you are.
Hello, I'm William Pitt. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'm a senior. I've been here for 4 years.
4 years. So yeah, he's one of those that I feel like I've helped raise a little bit. And then the old timer of the bunch, we're going to let Cadet Weaver introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Matthew Weaver. I'm from Hesperus, Colorado, and this is my 6th year at CMA.
All right, so definitely help raise him. It's pretty funny. Matthew actually did one of these YouTube Lives back when he's in 7th grade. So if you want to see how he's changed and grown over the years, you can scroll back through some YouTube videos and see some older pictures of him. But one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that this is supposed to be an interactive session. So please remember to ask your questions on any of our social media platforms. Just use the hashtag Camden Military, and we'll get to as many of those as possible tonight for these young men. You saw it on your screen there, hashtag Camden Military, and just write your question, end it with that. If you're old people like me, that used to be the pound sign, all right, Camden Military. All right, so I want to play this short video next. This is going to kind of set the tone for the night with these seniors, but we do a series called Letters from Home every year, and unfortunately, we didn't get these guys' video back in time to play tonight, so we're going to play last year's version. But I hope you will, join us on YouTube, on our website, because their video will be coming out in about a week. But check it out at this Letters from Home.
My name is Dustin Anthony George.
Jacob Euchre. Brandon Ranka.
And my name is Greg Volson.
Matthew Colvin.
Andre Isaac Sapp.
So what's this about?
Okay, so I'm going to bring this up to you. I want you just to open it and then read it out loud, what you see.
You want me to read it out loud?
I can tell this is my mother's because it's a page long.
Dear Andre, my dearest Grego.
The decision for you to attend CMA was extremely tough. Tough on you and tough on me.
I never knew I could love so deeply. I never knew I could feel so proud. It has been a journey, hasn't it?
I secretly hoped you would refuse to stay, but instead you bravely told us you'd take your laptop back to Jacksonville, that you'd be fine with no electronics. We had disbelief and awe.
You've come far, farther than most kids your age.
Your decision to stay at Camden after the first year became your intention to work towards your life success and sacrifice of your time with the small price compared to the reward.
I confidently write this today knowing you had mentors, confidence, and true leaders guiding you.
You are an incredibly strong young man, intelligent, quick-witted, and loyal. A young man who stands tall and proud and isn't afraid to take on a challenge.
You have a clear vision for your future. That vision is what makes me so particularly proud and excited for you. You haven't let disappointments deter you. You know what you're capable of. That is a blessing to your mother and father.
Be ready for anything, do your best in everything you do, push yourself to be the best in all things, always pray. We are all at God's mercies. Never forget to keep God in your life.
I have watched as the last 4 years at CMA have shaped you into a strong, confident young man with a promising future.
Little boy I left in Camden 4 years ago is but a faded memory.
And now you're about to step forward into a most exciting future.
The future is yours and what you make of it. Congratulations on this, your biggest achievement in your life so far.
Love always.
I love you.
We love you so much.
I love you, child.
Love always.
We love you to the moon and back, Mom and Pops.
I just wanted to say how lucky I am to have the best family in the world.
You guys were always there for me. When I was younger, I didn't think that I was going to go anywhere in life.
I want to be the best man I can be, because you guys taught me to. Thank you, and I love you guys.
All right, so pass the tissues, right? Hopefully we got some tears going out there. These guys, I think 2 of them actually got letters from home this year, and I had to come a little sneaky because these guys are beginning to expect it. So they're like, are we going to do letters from home this year? So I played a little trick on them, and I think we pulled it off pretty well. So you'll see that final product in about a week. But it really does my heart good to see the change in these young men, and since they've been here, and then hear it from their parents as well, the letters that they secretly send to them. And but yeah, so anyway, moving on. One of the things that the guys talked about in that video was the experience at Camden and things like that. So that's what I want to talk to these 3 guys about briefly. Pitt, just kind of sum up. I mean, 4 years, I know to you it seems like an eternity, but it's really not that long in this big scheme of things. But how's it been? I mean, do you regret making the decision? Are you glad you did make the decision?
So it's been actually a pretty quick 4 years. Looking back on it now, it didn't feel like that my sophomore year, junior year. I did not make the decision myself, so it honestly kind of took some getting used to. But I'm glad I stuck it out with 10 days left. I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, 10 days and a wake up. That's what we're saying. And Weaver, I mean, you kind of become the fabric of the school. You've been here so long, and now you're the top cadet on campus. And what's your experience been like? I remember you coming in as a 7th grader. Well, yeah, 7th grader, and had Miss Bolin, which is the headmaster's wife. And but anyway, just kind of give me some memories. And are you glad that this is a decision that you and your family made?
So it wasn't exactly my decision. My parents made it for me while I was about halfway through my 6th grade year, and I was a little scared at first and angry, but I'm glad they made that decision for me. I came here during summer school the year before my 7th grade year, so I was here for those 6 weeks, and I got to know a little bit about Camden during those 6 weeks. And when I went home after those 6 weeks, I was actually looking forward to coming here during the school year as an actual cadet, and I was looking forward to making rank and stuff. And honestly, making friends and moving up through the ranks has probably been one of the best parts about here, and focusing on my academics too. So, I mean, I have been here a long time, and then I feel like Pitt said, it has gone by really fast. It feels like yesterday I was just moving into the old Delta barracks, which I can remember. But now I'm leaving very soon, and it's sad for sure.
Yeah, he's actually probably the only cadet on campus. We built some new barracks back in 2016-17, and he's probably one of the only cadets on campus that actually lived in the old barracks and then got to experience the new ones as well. Now, Demba, you haven't been here quite as long, but I remember when I first met you, we sat down in my office, and your mom, and I think you had a sibling in there too. And, that's a big step to come basically halfway around the world to go to school. So whose idea was it? How did your family find Camden?
So me and my parents had to come to an agreement to where I was going to continue for my junior year. And my mom stumbled upon Camden Military Academy, and it looked really good. And my dad thought it would be a great idea to help me with my structure and my schoolwork because I really needed some help. So that's how I came back over here.
Yeah. So I remember when Cadet Demba and his family was in town, it started a bit of a Facebook chatter. People were saying, "Oh, we have someone from the Congo or from South Africa here in town," and so people had met him around town because I think you guys spent like a week out and about in the community. So that's one thing about Camden is I warn all these young men: if you do anything around town, we're going to find out. So it'll always get back to us. Um, Really quickly too, I want to kind of talk about COVID and our plans for next school year. I know these guys are sick of COVID, as am I. We've not had any positive COVID cases here on campus for students, so that's a blessing. We maintain face-to-face instruction throughout the whole pandemic, and next year we will plan to do the same thing. However, we have kept young men in a bubble this year. So when they started in August, their first break wasn't until Thanksgiving, and then they stayed home until January, and they've been here since January, and they won't have a break until May 9th. So I know that they're ready to get off campus, but next year we're back to normal. We're going to go ahead, play sports, take some trips. We used to have about one major field trip a month where we go to DC and Carowinds and things. Won't be quite as many trips. I think we're going to limit it to 7 or 8, but we're still planning to go snow skiing, lots of NFL games, NBA games, college games, things like that. So still a lot of off-campus activities next year that we didn't have this year. As far as academically, again, we've maintained face-to-face instruction, so we'll certainly continue that. And just hope this COVID goes away sooner rather than later. No mask next year. I know we've maintained masks all year, and all the faculty and staff will continue to wear masks. But young men next year, we're only wearing masks for about the first 10 to 14 days, and then after that, mask off. Also, we are not requiring the COVID vaccine, but we are strongly encouraging it for the people who are eligible to receive it. So we know that 12-year-olds can't get it right now, but if you're 16 or older, you certainly can. So we're encouraging, but not requiring. All right. So guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about your senior year. So kind of think back through this year and, something that maybe jumps out that's a good memory or something that you're going to remember and take it with you from here. Let's start out with you, Cadet Pitt.
So my senior year was definitely full of excitement, I guess you could say. I made a poor decision at the beginning of the year, and I was moved companies. So I was able to work back to what I had before. I became really good friends with Matthew Weaver. We lifted weights, we hung out in the barracks, we just really connected, I guess. And so it was cool to move to a different company and still be able to make incredibly strong friendships. I mean, I knew him around campus all 4 years, but I never had a close connection with him. So I think that's definitely one of the highlights of my senior year.
Oh, let me play the grand piano. All right, Weaver, what do you think about it? What's something that's happened this year that you may carry with you for a while?
Probably being friends with Pitt. Honestly, I was gonna say that before he said it. He just got the chance to say it. But yeah, he was supposed to be in band and staff, but then he got moved to Delta, and he was in a few of my classes last year, and we saw each other, and I saw him walking around campus. I just never hung out with him. I never really talked to him. He wasn't in weightlifting then, but when he moved to Delta this year, I kind of got him to go to the gym. He wasn't sure he wanted to play football, but I talked him out of it. Um, we started lifting together. We started hanging out more. Yeah, we just became really good friends, and I don't think that's something I'll forget. But it's kind of sad because I had to move into the barracks he was supposed to be in. It's almost like we were joined at the beginning but pulled apart at the end.
All right. And Demba, how about take us back over, your last couple of years? What's something here that you've learned at Camden Military that maybe you think you will be able to use or take with you or just never forget?
Well, the friendships I've made here, I feel like they will last forever. I made a really strong friendship with Weaver because I knew him from last year and he really helped me out. And when I even got ranked, people were really happy for me and they really helped me out over over sports, over weight. Even I started weightlifting this year because it started really being fun. I really enjoyed it.
All right. So it's kind of interesting. These three guys all mentioned friendships and things. So, brotherhood is something that's pretty big here at Camden. And, if you've ever belonged to a fraternity or sorority, it's that kind of bond that these guys have. They're around each other 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So, they get to really be, non-blood brothers. Um, and it's always interesting this time of the year because, as they are starting to separate and go their own ways, it's not like your traditional hometown graduation, where you'll probably see these people again in a few weeks. I mean, Pitt's going to go to North Carolina, Weaver's going to Colorado, and I don't know if Demba's heading back to South Africa or not, but who knows when they'll see each other again. And it really starts to sink in these last few weeks of school that, wow, these guys, my brothers, are going to be leaving, and it's great to see those bonds. Guys, I heard all three of you earlier pretty much say that this was not your idea to attend Camden. So I want you guys to tell me what were you kind of worried about? What was something that really kind of stressed you out before you got here? And then did it really turn out to be like that? Weaver, we'll start with you first because you came in at a pretty young age.
So yeah, the only thing I think I really struggled with was just leaving behind the friends I had made. I never had a problem being away from home. That was never an issue for me. Um, Especially like being sent halfway across the country or whatever. Farther than that, I never was homesick when I got here. I was happy. But I think it turned out how I really imagined it. I didn't know about all the military stuff. That was new, but I got a taste of that during summer school, and it was all very easy for me to catch on to. And I never had a problem learning new things here or any like the discipline and structure. I kind of learned my way around the rules and stuff, not like to get by them, but I learned them really fast. I learned like what I can do, what I can't do, like free time, like where I can go and stuff like that.
All righty.
Hello?
I believe there we are. Okay, so we're coming back. Sorry about technical difficulties, but we have two of us back, so we'll be working on the third one. But now I totally forgot the question. What were we talking about there, Weaver? You just answered the question.
You asked like
Oh,
how.
I know. Okay, I'm back on track. Okay, I'm having technical difficulties as well. All right, so Pitt, tell us. It wasn't your idea to come here, but was something that maybe you were kind of scared about, nervous about, stressed about, and then how did it turn out once you got here?
Honestly, the thing I was most stressed out about was when my dad told me I was going to a military academy. The only thing I was thinking was military, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna do push-ups all the time, and I'm gonna have dudes screaming at me. And I got here, and I was really at ease with the military aspect because it's not there to kind of tear you down; it's there to build you up. So it's structure, um, and guys who are like willing to help you become like a better young man. So
Yeah. All right. And now I kind of want to jump over to academics because I know a lot of times when families are considering Camden, academics is a big issue for them, a big concern. And so I want to kind of talk about that. But before we do that, I do want to throw up that hashtag again, hashtag Camden Military to get your questions answered. Again, that's hashtag Camden Military right there on the screen. Any social media platform, or you can just put it right there in the YouTube chat and we will get to it. But academically, let's see, Cadet Pitt, kind of explain the difference between a teacher at a public school, maybe, or your old public school, and teachers at CMA. Do you see any differences?
I do. I've actually answered this question on another YouTube live. But at public school, it just feels like you're kind of a number. Like at my old high school, I went to a high school called Hoggard High School in Wilmington. I was a part of 38 other kids in my English class. So you really just feel like a number. It's like not personal. It's just turn your work in, do this, grade it, give it back. Here it's like 7 or 8 guys in a classroom, maybe your biggest class. My biggest class is probably like 13 people. You definitely get a better connection with your teachers. Your teachers are there to help, and you can go at multiple times throughout the day and get extra help from them if you need help in that class.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, like to tell families, we're not your typical, 8 to 3 teachers or things like that. Our teachers are here pretty much all the time. They're here on study hall at night until, 9:30 in the evening. So it's a pretty long day for them. When I was actually interviewed for my position back 22 years ago now, wow. I was told it's not just a job, it's a way of life. And it is. I mean, it's something. That kind of differentiates us from a lot of the other academies, I think, is that we have a strong family atmosphere on campus. I think all these guys know my dog. They know my cat. So it's just a little something different. It's still military. There's lots of structure, but these guys are teenagers. They're not ready to be soldiers yet. So we treat them like teenagers. All right, got a couple questions coming in now. Thank you for posting these in. How frequently do students that are seniors start at CMA? We will probably each year have about maybe 3 to 8, I would say, first-year seniors. That's what I call them when they come in at CMA. And we work pretty hard to get them back on equal ranking levels and even ground with their peers. So if they've not been here their whole high school career, that's okay. As long as they're putting in the work, they will move up, pretty quick. Need to post those questions, hashtag Camden Military. But in the meantime, I want to go back and talk about kind of next year for you guys. Weaver, tell us, where are you going next year? What's your plans? What's your future look like?
So this summer I plan on working in Reno, Nevada. So that's kind of where I'm starting off. I want to make some money before I go to college. Then I'm going back to Colorado. I got accepted into the University of Colorado Boulder, so that's where I will be attending college. I'm very excited about that. It'll definitely be something new from here, and sometimes change is always good. But I plan on majoring in business. I hopefully have enough credits to start off as a sophomore. We will see. But yeah, I plan on majoring in business, and then one day my dream is to like own my own gym. So I think I'll go into real estate management before that, kind of start a life there, and then maybe branch off and then own my own gym and kind of run it because that's kind of my passion is working out, fitness, and I love living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. All right. Good. And Demba, what are you thinking about doing after Camden's graduation?
So after graduation, I'm gonna be going back home, spend some time with my family after 2 years because I haven't seen them yet. So I'll spend some time with them, and then after that, I'm gonna come back to the U.S. and attend St. Lawrence University in upstate New York. And I'm gonna be majoring in computer science. I'm very excited to start off college, and I can't wait to graduate.
Yeah, great. And then lastly, Pitt, what's your future plans?
So this summer, I plan on working, putting some money in my pocket, and then during the school year, next school year, I'll be attending App State University in Boone, North Carolina, and I'll be majoring in sustainable development, and also, well, I'll be double majoring. So I'll be majoring in sustainable development and then sustainability with a concentration in environmental studies. So, yeah.
And one thing about Cadet Pitt, my daughter is actually going to graduate school at Appalachian State University, so I'll be checking in on Cadet Pitt from time to time when I go up to make sure the college is going well.
Yes,
All
sir.
righty. Another question we have coming in now is how structured is the day? So let's just kind of tell them what a typical day is like, guys. Weaver, why don't you kind of start from like, say, wake up till lunch, and then Pitt will go from lunch until lights out.
So, wake up call will be at 6 a.m. in the morning. So, everyone will get in the hallway outside their doors. That's just to kind of wake them up. They'll do a roll call, make sure everyone's in the hallway and awake. And that's just to kind of, get you up, make sure you're awake and out of bed. And then they have you do your personal hygienes. And in Delta Company, uh, that will be until 6:30. You have until 6:15 to get dressed, and then you kind of clean your room if you're done with the personal hygiene and dress. So you'll spend the rest of the time cleaning your room, making your beds, vacuuming your floors, taking out your trash. Then around 7:05, 7:15, we will go to the dining hall, and then we will have breakfast. And then after breakfast, it depends which day it is. So Monday is usually a company drill. So you'll go back to the barracks, kind of, or out on the football field or parade field, and you do some drill. Um, if it's Tuesday, then you usually have battalion PT, and it's not like hard PT. It's just some basic calisthenics, and that's just physical training is what it stands for. Wednesday we have let class, and that's kind of like a seventh class, but it's mostly just like learning stuff about the military. Or in let two, you learn about first aid and map reading, so that's kind of interesting. Thursday will be company drill. Friday is company PT, so you just do PT within your company. Or if we have a parade that's coming up, then we will have parade practice that week leading up to the parade. So after that, we usually try to be back in the barracks around 9 o'clock, so the kids have enough time to finish cleaning rooms, get those last touches in. And then after that's done, kids start heading out to class to 9:15. Class doesn't start till 9:30, but we want to make sure they're on time and not late and getting written up. So you have three classes before lunch, and you have a tutorial period in between some of those classes. It depends which day it is. So tutorial period is where you can go to your teachers for extra help, or you can go to your room back in the barracks and just chill out for about 15 minutes before you have to be back in class. And some teachers do request, or not really request, but they do have you come in to benefit you on some extra help. And tutorial would be after first period on Monday. It'll be after second period on Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It'll be after third period before lunch. And we go to lunch around 12:05, and then we'll have a battalion formation before lunch, and a battalion formation will also be before breakfast.
All right, good job. And Cadet Pitt, take us kind of from lunch to lights out, please.
So from lunch to lights out, right after lunch, we will go back to class. We will finish our 3 periods. We'll get out of school at 3:15. At 3:15, we will go back to our company. We'll have a formation where the leader of the company first sergeant, who is also a cadet, will put out all the information for the rest of the night. Just kind of giving a guideline for the rest of the night for the students. Then from there, we'll be released on free time. So we'll have time to go work out, go to your sports practice, go to the Carlisle house, get some snacks, play video games. It's really time for you to do whatever you want. Personally, me and Weaver will work out during free time. We'll go to the gym. So from then we go back, have time to like shower up before formation. We'll leave for battalion formation at 6. Get there, the whole battalion will form up in front of the dining hall. The battalion commander will release us inside to the dining hall. We'll eat our dinner. We go back to the barracks. We start study hall at 7:30. The AOC, which is the academic officer in charge, which is a teacher, who will be assigned to a company each night, will come at 7:30. The barracks will be quiet. Everything's shut down. It's study time. So from then until about 9 o'clock, we will do study hall. From 9 to 9:30, we will in study hall have a formation. The first sergeant will put out information for the rest of the cadets. And then you will have time to shower, do your hygiene, call your family, do whatever. And then you go to bed, wake up and do it the next day.
Right. Good job. So as you can see, guys, it is very structured. These guys, I mean, I think they even got pretty precise with down to 12:05 or something. I heard one time, so the time's kind of become ingrained, in your everyday life and kind of becomes a habit. Another question coming in, or what are the uniforms like? So Cadet Demba, why don't you kind of explain the uniform that you have on now and then the different types of uniforms that we have here at CMA?
We have I think 4 or 5 uniforms. We have the class uniform, which is what we are all wearing right now, me, Weaver, and Pitt. We have the parade uniform, which are only for parades and when we go to church. We have the PT uniform, physical training uniform is when we have PTs or when we're going to play some sports. We have winter PTs and summer PTs for the different seasons. And we have the ACUs, which is we wear it when it's raining. And honestly, the uniforms aren't really that bad. I thought they would be worse, but they're actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah, everyone's worried about the uniforms and the haircut. So the uniforms, the good thing is you don't have to wear a tie unless you wear the long sleeve shirt. So you have the open neck like these guys have on. And then you can see we don't require a buzz cut. So, all these guys have some hair. I guess Pitt has the most out of all of us. And, but yeah, so, just short on the sides, we want it to be neat. But that's about it. Have a question about sports. How do grades affect sports? We want you to maintain at least a C average. Sports we think is pretty integral part of the experience here at CMA. And so we really encourage participation with sports. And we're going to try to get you out there to play. Hopefully, with the tutorials and all the extra, safety nets that we have in place academically, you'll never find yourself not wanting to play sports. But if you're not making the best grades at home right now, this is a fresh start. So, you're able to play football right away next year. But we do give grades every 2 weeks. And if those grades go down, you will have to sit out the sports and attend extra tutoring. All right. Another question about summer school. How many students attend summer school and how many return for the fall? So in a typical non-COVID year, we have about 100 to 150 students for summer school. About 40 or so of those will come back for the school year. This year, we've abbreviated our summer school because we planned it way back in January. So we only have 3 weeks of summer school in July. And this year, I'm pretty much anticipating maybe 80 to 100 students and maybe 25 or so of those coming back for the school year. Applications are ahead of where we've been in the past. And I think it's because of COVID. There's been a lot of hybrid and online virtual learning going on, which has not really been beneficial to a lot of young men. So I think a lot of them are going to come into summer. And then, of course, they don't want to take a chance next year of not being face-to-face. And they probably have some learning gaps they need to make up for. So, but yeah, so that's our summer program. All right, continue here, guys. Sorry, I got a lot of questions coming in, so I'm going to try to get to them. Will CMA continue with the COVID protocol during the next school year? What will Christmas break be like? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I did cover all that earlier in the YouTube, but next year is going to be a regular year for us with our regular breaks and furloughs and sports and all of that. So that's good. And the Christmas break is going to be just like it was this year. So what we're going to do, you're going to have an extra long Christmas break. When we get out for Thanksgiving, which is going to be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, you will not come back to school until January. So you're going to have a combined Christmas and Thanksgiving at home. which is nice, especially if you live far away. And then how many sports can you play at once? You can play as many sports as you want, as long as they don't conflict with each other. Some sports are not required to, you don't have to go out there to learn plays, for example, in tennis. So you're able to play tennis and lacrosse. But you can't, of course, play football and basketball because there's going to be plays, that have to be run, that you'll need to be part of. But yeah, so. All right, and let's see. We've got some more questions, but I want to get back to you guys just for a second, a bit about academics. We talked about that, and all three of these young men are going to college, which is great. And that's our job here, is to kind of create opportunities for these young men once they get to Camden. Some of them kind of come in and they're frustrated academically, but also kind of frustrated with mom and dad being on their back, or taking their cell phones, taking their car keys, whatever. And this kind of gives them a chance to again get back on track. And our job is to get some opportunities there for them. So all of them are going to college. About 95% of our graduates end up going to college. We do have some that join the service or go into back to a family-owned business or something like that. But we have some late breaking news for two of our cadets. So Cadet Pitt and Weaver got an email about 2 hours ago that each of you won $1,000 scholarship from the Daughters of the American Revolution. So yeah, so
that's awesome.
Congratulations on that. Yeah, so we'll talk about that after we get off the air. But we do look for scholarship opportunities for these young men too. Our community here in Camden is great. They include us. So, like I said, that was the DAR scholarships that they applied for and received. There's numerous other scholarships, our Rotary clubs, JCs, Kiwanis, all the community organizations include our students, and we appreciate that. All right, now I want to go back to fewer questions, and don't forget, you can submit your questions by using hashtag Camden Military on any of the social media, or just by posting in the YouTube chat there. We're watching for all those questions. How exactly do town trips work? Well, these guys this year didn't get any town trips, so I don't know. Weaver, can you remember, how does town trips work typically?
In the past, what we've done has, I think it was like limited to about 6 cadets per company. So we have 5 companies, so about, I guess, 35 would be gathered, and you'd have to have good grades. You couldn't be in trouble to go on a town trip. They would load you onto a bus, and then they would take you to town to go to Walmart and stuff if you need to buy anything. And I was in Miss Boland's 7th grade math class, and Miss Boland is a wonderful lady and an amazing teacher. And what she would do for her students and her past students is she would take them out to a dinner before, about once a month, and she would take them out to the movies. And she would also look at our grades to make sure we were uh, having good grades. So she wasn't, and like a lot of her past students would come and visit her during the tutorial or in the mornings before their classes started. And then she'd be like, I've been looking at your grades recently. And then be like, really? She'd be like, yeah. And we would always wonder, we'd be like, man, when's the next trip? And she'd be like, oh, next week. And we were all excited for it. And then she would take 7th graders and then all her past students. We would go out, have a great dinner, and then we go to the movies. We mostly watched Medea because it was a funny movie. But sometimes they would also plan trips that weren't just like with her. So they do movie trips. So actually, this year we did do movie trips, but they had the movie theater closed down to the outside, so only Camden cadets were allowed inside the movie theater. They would take, I think, 5 per company. They would take them down, go watch a movie, then they'd come straight back to campus. They would spread them out in the movie theater, keep social distancing. Um, in the past, we also were recently able to go do paintballing. So we went about 10, 15 minutes down the road, and that was something nice. So each company each company versed each other. So there's about 45 to about 50 cadets per company. So there was enough to go all around, and we had a wonderful time doing that because we got to get off campus. We got to let some of that stress out, and we also got to do something fun with our friends.
And they actually lobbied hard and convinced us to offer a senior trip, paintball trip. So just the seniors are going out next week, and they were trying to talk me into getting into the paintball arena or whatever you call it. And I don't think that'll be happening, guys. All right, I got another question coming in. What other trips work? Oh, will trips be on for next year if the pandemic is still happening? Yes, as long as the pandemic does not get worse in a surging kind of a way, yes, we'll plan on going on the trips. Now, like I said, some of the trips that we've typically gone on before, we are not going on. We're not going to, I know for sure we're not going to DC. We're going to probably stay out of the large metro areas just because there's so many tourists and other people there. But we will still be going snow skiing. We're going to take a Florida trip. And like I said earlier, a lot of NBA games, NFL games, college games, things like that. So we're going to keep you guys busy. And yes, we will be getting off campus next year. What's the admissions process like? I guess that's a good question since that's what kind of my job, huh? So as far as admissions goes, you just start everything at camdenmilitary.com. You'll just go to our website and complete an application there. Once you submit that application, we'll be in touch with you to schedule an interview. The interview right now is all virtual because, again, we're not allowing any visitors on our campus. We kind of have these guys in a bubble and want to keep them healthy until they leave. But May 10th, we will be opening back up for tours. So these guys depart on May 9th, May 10th. We have an open house, I think May 15th as well. But we have several open houses scheduled throughout the summer. We also are starting to travel on the road again. So we'll be going to cities like Charlotte. I think we're going out to Texas, down in Florida. So we're trying to get back to the way we used to do things. So just check our website, camdenmilitary.com, for more information on any of the open houses. But if you want an individual appointment, we'll be starting those again, after graduation later in May. But anyway, once that interview's out of the way, we'll take a look at some unofficial records. We'll request the official records from your school at a later time, but just want to kind of see some grades, report cards, something like that. And then the admissions process is over. It'll take us about 3 or 4 days tops before you hear back from us as far as whether or not you were accepted. Next year, this year we capped our enrollment at 275 because we wanted to have room for quarantines and things like that. Next year, we're going to somewhat cap it, but we're going to go ahead and expand up to about 290. So we'll be starting the school year with about 290 next year. So yeah, as long as application, there's no hard deadlines. So just as long as you get your application in by mid-June, you should be okay without having to worry about being on a waiting list. Okay, another question. Do cadets have to have a cell phone or could they call from campus? You can certainly call from campus, yes. You can come in and use phones here in the office. The TAC officers, which are like the dads in the barracks, they have phones that you can be allowed to use as well. So you don't have to have a cell phone, but most guys do. And then how will rooming work next year? How many cadets in a room? So Demba, why don't you kind of tell us how many guys are in a room and kind of what's the typical room like?
So it's always 2 per room, or it could be 1 if there's just not enough people in the barracks. But usually you're in the same room with someone that's your age or in the same grade as you, or they could even do 1 grade above and 1 grade below. That's how they put you guys in rooms.
Yeah. And Pitt, kind of talk about the roommate process. I know you don't really have a say so in your first roommate, but can you switch roommates and kind of how does that work?
Right. So you do not have a choice with your first roommate. Everybody gets there, gets on campus, and gets settled in. And that's just so everybody can get in the groove of things. They can understand what they're doing. And you're not really worried about changing around rooms and like messing up the process of what you have going on. So after those first 2 weeks of everyone being on campus, if you develop a friendship with somebody that's a little stronger than others and you do want to room with them, you can move to a room with him and be roommates. All you got to do is go to your TAC officer and be like, hey, I'm not getting along with this person over something, or I just like this person a lot and we want to be roommates. So yeah, that's pretty much our process.
Yeah, it's I mean, we try to get it right with the first roommate, but sometimes we don't. And so yeah, don't suffer through the year with not a good roommate. Certainly come to us and let us know. We can get things worked out for you. I have another question coming about summer. So again, I just want to touch briefly on summer school. For the middle school students, they'll go to class in the morning and then they'll have some activities in the afternoons. So it's about half school, half playtime. The 3 subjects that they will learn or study in summer school: math, English, and science. And then the high school students basically is all summer school, and that means in the class from about 8:30 to 4 every day. We call it non-military because we don't require uniforms, we do not require a haircut, but yeah, it's all about academics at that point. Now they will have some fun on the weekends, but typical summer we go whitewater rafting and different things like that. This year, we're going to keep it a little bit closer to home, so there'll probably still be paintballing, movie trips, but the pool's always a busy place there in the summer as well. So, all right. Now, guys, again, I want to kind of talk about the senior stuff again. I want you to go back in all of your time here at CMA and tell me someone that's really made an impression on you that has been a leader, mentor, someone that you maybe want to say thank you to. And Pitt, we'll start with you.
So actually, my person who made an impression on me was you, Casey. You helped me through a lot of stuff junior year. You helped me this year with a bunch of stuff, and just everything that's been going on at campus. I could always come to you and just tell you what was going on, or like if something happened to me, or if anything really went wrong, that you'd be there and you'd be able to like pinch hit for me, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks, Pitt. I wasn't expecting that. All right, and Weaver, your turn.
I guess I have like a lot of people to thank, especially since I've been here so long. So you're one of them. Found my way around a computer with your help. I learned how to post some stuff. Um, I found out what what is like the homepage, what's it called?
The website, the back end of the website. Yeah.
No. Well, also another thing was I learned from you was also always use Google Chrome, which I still don't do. But um, but I definitely looked at Sergeant Major Wilder, who's no longer here, as a mentor and a father figure. He was definitely there for me when I arrived in seventh grade, and he was always looking out for me. I definitely look at my TAC officer this year, First Sergeant Fletcher. Uh, he was definitely a father figure to everyone in our company, and I think he really understands us because he has a son of his own who's 18 years old and his first year in college. And Pitt can probably tell you that too. He works well with the cadets. Everyone loves him. I definitely miss him since I moved out of Delta. I can thank Ms. Bolin because she was definitely one of my favorite teachers when I first got here, and I'm kind of sad that I haven't seen her like but once this year because of COVID. She's not allowed to interact with the students a lot due to her health and COVID, and it's kind of sad because I miss going to her classes in the mornings and just checking up on her. Um, and just like a lot of my teachers, I want to thank my teachers for sure. They helped me get through my academics. I think Captain Davis definitely helped motivate me. I did well in his college classes, and his college classes were the very first classes I had. And he said I had an amazing work ethic, and he could see me going far, and that kind of motivated me and helped push myself harder to do well in academics and finish out my senior year strong.
All right, good job. I know you've been here a long time, so you've got a long list. And then Demba, how about you? You haven't been here quite as long, but tell me who's made an impression on you.
That would probably be my TAC officer, First Sergeant Collins. I've been with him for 2 years now, and he's basically been a father figure for me because I've been so far away from home and haven't been home. So he's kind of took me under his wing, really helped me a lot around campus, and I really thank him for that because I know he has kids of his own that he goes back home and sees every day. But when he's here with us, like he really helps me around a lot. I really appreciate him for that.
All right, good job. Yeah, sometimes Sergeant Major Collins people kind of give him a bad rep because he's kind of tough, but he does it because he loves you guys. He's doing what's best for you. All right, now I want you to, we've been on here a while now. We've talked about a lot of things, but this is a sacrifice for a lot of families, a lot of parents. We realize the tuition isn't just free, so it's quite an expense. And I want you to kind of think about what you would say to your mom and dad, who may or may not be watching tonight, and just kind of thank them. And so we'll start out doing this with Cadet Weaver.
So yeah, you haven't seen it yet, but the letters from home and stuff, and that thing that Casey was talking about, how he added that little twist to it, kind of has something to do with this. And I definitely know they made a sacrifice, sending me here for 6 years. Those first 3 years, it definitely wasn't my choice, but after that, they asked me, and I looked back on how well I was doing here, and I made the decision to come back, and especially because I had made those friends, and I really wanted to see them again, and I'm gonna miss them, but I do want to say thank you to my parents for sacrificing like a whole lot, and I don't get to see them often. I've uh, been here more than I've seen them. I see my SAC officers and my friends more than I've seen them. It's kind of crazy to think about, and I realize the sacrifice that they made, and I do love them for it. Uh, but yeah.
Good job. All right, Demba, I know you haven't seen your family in a while, and I'm not sure what time it is over in Africa right now, but they'll watch this later, maybe on recording. So, what would you like to say to your parents and family that you haven't seen in quite a while?
I'm really grateful for their big decision of sending me all the way up here because it's been so long that they haven't seen me, and I know it's a very big decision to make for them. And I'm glad they actually sent me here because there's only positive that's happened since I've been here. So just thank you to them, and it was the best decision I could have taken.
All right, and Cadet Pitt, your turn.
I'm just very appreciative of the sacrifices that my family has made. It is a bunch of money to come here. It's not cheap, and for them to lay out that sacrifice, their time, their bunch of miles in the car, all that, just to give me a better opportunity that I can do myself. Um, I think that is probably one of the best things that they've done for me in my life, to be honest.
Awesome. All right, guys, last question, I promise. All right. Why, since you've been at Camden, I know you've heard us talk about these following things, self-discipline, character, integrity, time management, organization. What's one of those that you think that you learned at CMA that maybe you wouldn't have got at home, and how will that help you in the future? So, Weaver, we'll start with you.
Um, so definitely time management and discipline. I did not have any of those things. That is one of the reasons I was sent here. I was failing. I did well third, fourth grade, fifth grade. I was doing okay, and then sixth grade it was just downhill. I was almost failing. I almost failed sixth grade. Would have had to repeat it. Um, but since coming to CMA, I've definitely learned time management. I've definitely learned discipline, and sometimes it is here. It is hard here at CMA to do all the things you want to do because you have all those formations. You have some of that military aspect that you have to do, but they do give you time to do your homework. They do give you time to do stuff, and that kind of helps you figure out what you need to do and plan ahead to get done what you need to do, whether it's academics, whether you want to play sports or go do something fun or hang out with friends. Kind of helps you figure that out. And discipline, I definitely didn't have any discipline. I came here and I learned how to like control myself, and working out definitely helps you with discipline. I think a lot of people, even though they won't have a military structure, if they do work out, I think, or any type of fitness or sports, they do have to have that type of discipline for themselves. It's kind of all mental. It's really you who's motivating yourself, and only you can better yourself.
All right, good job. And Demba, what about you? What's something that you've learned here at CMA that maybe you wouldn't have gotten otherwise that you think will benefit you in the future?
I definitely agree with Weaver with time management as well as study skills before coming here, my grades weren't the best, and like I had to repeat uh, for math actually. And ever since coming here, my math classes have been amazing. I've started enjoying math. I've even started taking extra math classes with with my teacher, and like I've been doing amazing. My grades are top notch, and just study skills. I've really improved ever since I came here.
All right, good job. And Cadet Pitt, your turn.
One thing that I'll definitely take away from Camden is just commitment, and that's committing to everything I do, whether that's working out, whether that's my grades, whether that's work, really anything, just giving it my 100%. I definitely um, not learned it here, but it was definitely pushed on me more that I could rely on myself and I needed to commit to everything 100%. I mean, me and Weaver will work out 5, 6 days a week, study hall every night, making sure you're prepared for class the next day. It's a big commitment, and to keep yourself on track.
True. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for taking the time out tonight to come over and participate in this, and hopefully help some families, learn more about CMA. But from the CMA administration, we're all very proud of you guys. Glad that you'll be part of our class in 2021, and we'll expect to see you back on campus. Don't be strangers. All right. Okay, and to everyone out there watching, again, thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for taking time to learn more about CMA. And I think if you come and visit the campus and perhaps even talk to some of the students at one of our open houses that we have during the summer, that you'll realize this is definitely the right choice for you and your family as well. The application process completely online, as I mentioned earlier. Just go under admissions, and there's a school year application as well as a summer school application. And look for us on the road. Like I said, we're getting ready to get back out and start recruiting. So you'll see us in Texas. I think we've been going to Colorado. We're going to be, all over the place. So look for us. All that information is under the open house at Camden Military. We'll also be having some Zoom sessions. So very much like what we're doing tonight, except you'll be able to interact and speak directly with the students, and all that information is there as well. All right, guys. Again, thank you for watching, and until the next Conversations with Camden, see you next time.